This is the Deliberate Talks Weekly Podcast, powered by the Pixelated Egg Digital Ventures. Tune in every week to learn something new about digital marketing and entrepreneurship. And now, over to the voice of your host, Dakshin Adyanthaya. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the episode number 2 of the season 2 of the Deliberate Talks podcast. And this is Dakshin taking you back to the memory lanes, growing up to the popularity of boy bands today. And that's because today's episode is all about music. Like John Green once said, some people have lives and some people have music. But first, let's get into our factual fun gig for today. Currently, the value of digital music licensing industry is rupees 665 crores. Stats from MyDia study show user-generated content for music revenues reached $4 billion in 2020 and will push up to $4.9 billion in 2021. Rapper Bad Bunny claimed the top spot on Spotify's most streamed artist globally with more than 8.3 billion streams. And recapping to Spotify's rap stat for 2020, there were 65,000 playlists created under the title of Black Lives Matter or BLM with a whooping 64 million plus streams on the playlist. Boom! And we're just getting started with this subject, so let's get talking more about it with our guest today. So today we have one of the members of India's highly successful boy band, A Band of Boys. Apart from this, he's a successful singer, performer, and a musician. He also launched the radio station Big 92.7 FM as the Programming Head of Mumbai. Currently, he's associated with Furtados School of Music as a teacher, trainer, and head of content and marketing. Here's introducing Chin2 Bhosle. Hello, Chintu. Welcome to the Deliberate Talks podcast. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Dakshin. I am deliberately doing awesome, and it's the start of a new year. It's 2021, and but speaking for myself, actually, we had a fabulous 2020.
I'm going to go back a little before 2020 and all the way back to 2000, when your early days and my younger days, I already feel old. So talking about 2001, bands normally have drummers, guitarists, and musicians. And here we were at 2001 where we had a band of boys with 5 singers. What was the memo firstly? What made you also different? And what was the feeling and process like back then?
Okay, so I'll go a little before 2000 when I got the call that Chintu, I was I've done my management. I was working in advertising, and somewhere deep down the blood kicked in of the artist blood kicked in, saying there's more to life than going to an office and doing a job. So I had quit my job and I was radio jockeying and feeling my way through life. When somebody came and said there's a boy band audition happening, and why don't you go for it, boy band? And I literally like jumped back 5 steps and said, are you mad, boy? Because I had a rock band and we did like Metallica and Guns N' Roses covers and boy band was just not in the scheme of things. Having said that, I went for the audition on my brother's insistence, and I did that, and I got selected for this thing called A Band of Boys. Of course, the name, as you can see, has been very cleverly crafted. So if anybody talks about the category of A Band of Boys, it's instantly our brand name.
That's like a perfect SEO, right?
Yeah, correct. I now understand that a lot better thanks to you. So we did an audition, Hariji, Hariharan, Leslie Lewis, and our promoter, a gentleman called Vinod Nair. And, as embarrassed as I was to be in a boy band as it began, the trip has been fantastic. 5 of us put together. We did around a year and a half of training, of gymming, of Hindustani classical vocals, of choreography, of dancing, of writing our songs. And then we also actually did a lot of test shows where we were in Delhi. And the idea was we performed for truck drivers, for auto rickshawalas, for an all women's night,
Wow.
for colleges for free. We actually researched ourselves with all kinds of audiences to understand how we perform, how comfortable are we, set up the band vibe correctly.
Mhm.
And then we launched as India's first and only boy band, a band of boys.
Mhm.
And our first song, Meri Neend, which was launched, in fact, on 2002 on 9th September,
Right.
did fabulously well beyond all our expectations. Asha ji had come for and she had launched us.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, I ramble a lot. So I can talk for 8 hours at a stretch. I was a radio jockey myself and also a video jockey.
But
So when
that's the beauty of podcast, right? So you can keep on talking. There's no problem with that.
okay, no. So you need to have that little virtual whip and say,
Uh-huh.
"Shut up, fatak, Chintu. Work. Okay, you've gone off track now." So you need to do that for
No, no,
me.
this is wonderful
And
stories. Yeah, we all. I mean, I'm sorry to make you sound old now, but we all grew up to this, right? So for us, watching you guys on the TV was like, wow, India finally has a. And at that time, even Viva was the
yes,
later one, and
so,
uh,
you just made a very technically correct statement. Viva technically was the later one, and nobody knows
yes.
that because when we had formed as a band of boys, a friend of mine who worked at Star said, Chintu, we are launching a girl band hunt.
Hmm.
So, if you want to launch your band, do it soon if you want to have the first mover advantage.
Right.
And I remember we all sat and I told the boys, I said, boss, this is happening. Karna hai kya? Jaldi, you want to launch a band? And we
Hmm.
sat and discussed as in, nahi, we get one chance. So let's be ready for it. So in front of us, though we were formed before Viva launched before us.
Ah.
And I remember going for their launch show at Bandra Kurla complex and a huge stage. And these girls came out and they were all sitting there watching and saying, we are next, itching to get onto stage and, do our thing. But yeah, so Viva was actually launched before us.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right. But
To
how did that process continue from there? You launched your first album. It was highly successful songs.
yes,
How did you continue? I mean, obviously, success also is a part of your journey, apart from also a lot of people see failures. But when you claim that success, how is the process like to continue from there to, consistently perform? Do you have a lot of pressure? Do people come and say, no, your previous song was much better than this? How is the process
yeah,
like?
you're right. When you say one is success was a huge learner, a huge teacher. And we
Mhm.
were, in retrospect, when I look back now, it seriously taught us a lot of things, most of which is what not to do
Mm.
when you are successful. And when you're up there and, the whole world is around you. And I know this may sound like a cliche and everybody's read this and everybody's heard this. But we kind of lived through it. We did all the wrong things. We reacted in all the wrong ways. We acted in all the wrong ways. And we were actually guided in a couple of wrong directions. Like, you must have attitude. You
Yeah.
must, like, look down on people because then you're a star and that's what people want. And we were kind of briefed to
Oh,
behave
wow.
in that manner also to add the air of mystery and starriness,
Uh-huh.
and maybe fortunately or unfortunately, because it happened so easily. It wasn't easy, the 1.5 years of training,
Mhm.
but first song, huge hit, that I would say is luck, destiny, talent, or just ease, and we actually pissed off a lot of people, in that journey, because we came with attitude like, yo, man, we are the cat's whiskers, kind of
Uh-huh.
thing. And a lot of event people, a lot of music companies, and though we were flying high, so as you know, when you are at the top of your game, people want you, so it didn't really matter to us. So we had these hit songs. We released 4 videos, which was huge in those days,
Mhm.
well produced videos. And then it was like, what to do next?
Mhm.
And we were at this gig at Jakarta, and we were performing there. And Shah Rukh Khan was there also for this Diwali gig,
Okay.
and he was also doing his thing. And we finished up because then we are a fire brand on stage, right? Because there are 5 of us. There
Mhm.
were 5, and now there are 4, and each one has a lot of energy within the band. So
Right.
each one is a solo act by himself.
Mm.
That I can hold an audience of a 20,000 strong audience by myself, as can my other bandmates. Now,
Mm.
when you combine that power onto one stage, we are quite mad,
Right.
right? So we finished this Diwali gig, and the promoter there is a guy who is a huge TV producer in Jakarta. So he saw us and said, guys, why don't you do a movie?
Hmm.
And we were like, hmm. And our manager at that time said, that's a great idea. So he sat down with him, scripted a film,
Hmm.
and a full-fledged Bollywood film based on our lives, which
Wow.
started off, and that time this thing in India was going on called the item numbers.
Right.
So these girls who just danced to
Right.
remix songs showed a lot of skill, and our shows were starting to drop because
Hmm.
people said we want these girls on stage, and it's just one person traveling. They act like they sing, they dance. There's a lot of flesh, and
Hmm.
we were like, my God! So the film was actually made on that
Right.
essentially,
Right.
and by the 20th script, what was reality became five guys chasing girls, romancing, having fun. And in the background, there was this story of this one item number girl who's happening and how we win over the audience.
Wow.
And she's terrible and she can't sing. But it just became a very, very not true story about me and some girls spurning me. And if any of you have heard of this movie called Kiss Kisko, I beg you don't watch it. It's one of the biggest terriblest mistakes of my life doing a stupid film like that.
Wow.
But it was quite a party.
But yeah, it all sounds like fun, you know. It's like your time and you can do whatever you want and not. I mean,
Yes,
you can regret it later, but that's the moment that you can enjoy for doing whatever you want.
it totally is. We don't regret the 2 months we were in Bali, Jakarta, and we shot every night. There were foam parties every morning. The makeup artist and I have the biggest dark circles in the group. So he'd be like, Chintu ji, how do I hide your dark circles? I said, I don't care, man. I really don't care.
No, but interesting thing that you highlighted in this is, when you're talking about the performance, you said everyone is a star within the band, right?
Yeah,
And that's also a part where individual attention starts coming in, and a lot of stories of bands splitting and all that stuff
yeah,
because
yeah.
one person becomes really popular there, right? Now, what's it like to be with four other artists from your perception? How difficult is it to work together? And in today's time, do you think recreating and forming a band is easier or as tough as it was back then?
No, it's always going to be whether you're the Beatles way back in 1960, whether you are a Band of Boys, whether you're the Backstreet Boys, whatever. It's the They say the easiest thing to do is to form a band. The toughest thing to do is to keep it together,
Hmm.
right? And that holds true. The Beatles split, yeah, finally also, so even a
Right.
band as good as that, and the amongst five of us actually we have superb chemistry,
Hmm.
very very good chemistry, because we literally were borrowing money from each other before our launch. We were so broke, we stopped all work. So we are not stars in front of each other because we've known the bad days kind of
Right.
thing.
Right.
But you're right, somebody's getting more popular. We've
Hmm.
had fights over girls in the band, yeah, like literally bad fights, and then we always regrouped. It's damn tough, bro. Which is probably why a couple of people tried to start more boy bands, girl bands, but they
Right.
didn't succeed because we realized we were very clear. We'll divide a song almost mathematically. We will divide the videos almost mathematically,
Hmm.
so that there's no ego clash. There's no everybody's good, yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's equal.
Yeah.
Even then we fought, even then we almost got into fist fights and all that. But it's very tough. So the thing is to it's I know it's easier said than done, but to be grounded
Hmm.
is not easy. And I'm telling you, I look back today and say, my God, the mistakes we made because we weren't grounded.
Hmm.
Nobody really prepped us for that. So if I ever had to help a band, the first thing I would do is I would counsel them on the journey. Have fun on the journey, be yourself during the journey, be rooted, because you have your ups and downs. I've
Hmm.
met very 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 big stars and singers and composers, and they are so some of them are so rude, they're so full of attitude, and I don't judge them, because I said, my God, I must have been like that too.
Hmm.
And when those guys are now out of the picture, nobody looks at them, and it's karma, man. It
Hmm.
just comes back to you. So
Right.
it's very important. My biggest advice to anybody would be just root yourself, be grounded, because life is a roller coaster, man. It's a beautiful roller coaster, but it's a roller coaster nevertheless.
But
So
Chintu, tell me, why do you think internationally there are, a lot of good bands, right? There are a lot of youngsters who go and become global sensations.
right.
India really didn't manage to create a lot of bands, especially from a reality show point of view, also. after what happened with you guys, Viva, and then a couple of more, really didn't escalate even from a concept point of view to bring a band really. The 90s, you have the Junoons and you have the Silk Routes and you have the various
Lucky
bands.
Ali, and yeah.
Yeah, but now we really don't talk about, bands like these. And why do you think is the primary reason?
I don't think I know. Everybody knows this. The reason is Bollywood, bro. It's Bollywood. I don't hate Bollywood. I don't have warm feelings for it though, from a music perspective.
Mhm,
But Bollywood is unique to India, and India is unique to the world in this aspect,
mhm,
where the world has music made by artists, independent artists who write. I mean, most of them. I'm not talking about the produced artists, like for example, a Britney Spears or whatever. They're produced artists,
right.
but like U2 and Guns N' Roses, and these are or Coldplay. These are guys who write their own music, who say what they want to say because they have something to say.
Mhm,
India has Bollywood. Bollywood music is all about, you have a separate composer, a separate
mhm,
lyricist, you have a separate playback singer, and you have film stars who then are the face of that.
right.
So that's one aspect. The second aspect is Bollywood has the money
Mhm,
and the supreme star. So I was the programming director of Big FM
right.
in Mumbai when we launched. And as the programming director, I decide what music goes on air, right?
Mhm,
And I used to have so many artists come to me and tell me, Chintu, please play our music. And I'm like, I understand your dard, but I cannot.
mhm,
Because when Bollywood comes to my table, it says, I'll give you Amir Khan for 3 interviews. I'll give you Shah Rukh Khan for 2 interviews. I want 8 or 9 time rotation in
mhm,
during peak hours per day.
mhm,
Now look at the math, right? Whether I'm a TV channel or a radio station, I am getting around 2 releases every week from Bollywood. So I
mhm,
have to factor that in my playlist.
mhm,
Then I have to factor the previous hits, which go on for another, say, 6, 7 months.
right.
Then I have to factor the older hits and then the retro hits or the oldies.
Mhm,
My inventory is unbelievably full.
mhm,
Now steps in this bechara, garib, little beggar, independent artist, including myself, Band of Boys, Euphoria, Silk Route, Lucky Ali, Sukhbir, very
mhm,
well known in those days.
right.
Today's time. You step in these people, and it's like, I can't play you guys. I'm sorry, but I have Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan. I have all these guys who are fighting for space, and the public wants that. I'm being paid to play that music because
Right.
this is film music. How do independent artists fight this?
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
impossible. It's impossible. And I have been on the other side. I have not been able to give the independent artist space. So in the 90s and the early 2000s, all that played
mhm,
because and I remember the time programming heads of MTV and Channel V, and they said, we love this song, we are playing it. They
right.
were allowed. You played music you believed in. And
Right.
slowly the sound, and here's another reason, the sound changed. Like your Vishal Shekhars, your
Mhm,
Amit Trivedi, I mean, it started with Rahman, Shankar Ehsaan Loy, all the
mhm,
guys who would make Leslie Lewis, who would make music for independent, shifted towards Bollywood because that's where the money is, that's where the
right.
fame is, and why not? The soundscape became the same. There was no differentiation between Bollywood and independent music.
Right.
So you did not need independent music. It didn't need to exist anymore because that sound was now being served across.
Mhm,
And the power to totally whitewash the media. Now,
mhm,
how would you survive? You tell
mhm,
me.
right. Right. Makes sense. And
Then YouTube comes in, and now independent artists have a far better Spotify,
yes.
Apple Music, all that. Yeah.
Yes. So digital then gave an opportunity to the users or the customers to actually go and listen to what they wanted rather than what they've been given to hear, right? From a receiver point
Absolutely.
of view. And that's why, like you rightly mentioned about Spotify and other channels coming in, digital content creators then also had an opportunity to showcase their talent and content. Now,
Totally, Dakshin. I'll tell you, we had to beg music towards the end when the fall was even getting worse. We had
uh
to literally, and bigger artists, known artists like myself or other. We had to literally go and beg music channels to play our songs,
Right.
and it's like, and it came to this stage of, we make the music, we make the video, we do all that, then the channel tells you, yeah, but pay me 20 lakhs to play your song. I'm like, are you mad? How are you going to survive? I
Right.
mean, it's ridiculous. It was, which is why we all died that way. But now that this has come, I was the happiest when YouTube and all came in saying, kill the channel, kill the music companies who sat on a high horse saying, I'll judge you. You don't need to judge me, bro. I can now reach out to my audience directly.
Right.
So
But tell
thank you
me,
for
if
nothing.
Band of Boys were to be introduced today, like you rightly mentioned, with YouTube and other channels coming in, what would the story be like?
I think we would have, my God, we would have like reached out to the world in such a huge way. The story,
Mhm.
see, would be the same. It
Right.
still is a band of boys or a band of girls, in that the concept of a band of boys.
Right.
But we would have harnessed the power of directly being able to speak to our audience without a middleman,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know. However, having said that, Dakshin, I don't know if you've heard this theory. Yeah, it's the right place, right time.
Right. Right.
They say if the Beatles were to launch today, they would probably be nothing.
Mm.
It's that if you two were to launch today, they would probably not be as famous, or probably be nothing. For
Mhm.
example, it's all the factors of media, the time, the sound. It's all those factors that come into play to make it at that right time.
Right.
So we've often discussed this. Yeah, I wonder what would have happened if we were in our 20s now,
Mhm. Mm.
and we probably would not be noticed. I mean, the TikTok stars and all would be far like cooler than artists. I don't know, man. It's a
No, but there's another conversation to that part of it, right? Like today we see a video from Lucky Ali and we're like, wow, it takes us back to time.
yeah,
Honestly, you never valued the artist back then, maybe, and today everything sounds to you like gold because it's you don't get that quality of video or the quality of song from today's artist. Also, could be one of the reasons. But even when I look at artists like KK or even Euphoria for that fact,
right.
Dr. Palash Sen even comes up with videos on a very frequent basis today, but the viewership or the listenership that is there is not justifiable when you look at artists like Badsha or Honey Singh or all
You're
those
right.
rappers, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
like you rightly mentioned, the story could be completely different from what it is. But having said that, again, from a digital aspect of music creation, what is your opinion about all this part of the viewership?
In fact, I was coming to that as you were speaking, because it all ties in.
Hmm.
The music made then, if a Lucky Ali made music, if a Silk Route make music, they were musicians who
Right.
made music. They understood music, they understood chords. This boy Kem, he's from the Silk Route, the guy who plays the keyboard. He's like a grade 8 or higher
Hmm.
pianist.
Hmm.
So when somebody who knows music makes music, there's a different sound to it, there's a
Right.
different feel to it, there's a different complexity or simplicity to
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
you know but today, Dakshin, the digital world also means you make music digitally.
Right.
So I'm sure we've seen many jokes about how people make music today, but I can literally, and jokes apart, I can make you a full-fledged music song in approximately 10 minutes.
Really?
I can.
Wow.
That's the tools I have
Hmm.
digitally. I can Apple Logic, or all these softwares. I can program the whole live drum feel of a song in 3 minutes,
Wow.
with rolls, with the intro feel, with the I'm into the middle of the song feel. I'm now moving towards the end of the song feel. In 2 minutes, I can put a 5-minute song together on the drums.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now imagine when you have the power to do that. What kind of music would you churn out? I'm not judging it. Some are fantastic, and most are just being put together, because you don't need to be a musician to make music anymore. It's like Asha ji and me used to always have this fight. She says, Chintu, in our days, great music was made. Why? And then we have this whole discussion and argument. I said, because people listen to songs for 8 months. But why do people today love those songs even then? Then I have actually come to this conclusion that they were musicians who made music. Today, a music composer, and I won't take names, has no idea, for example, a simple concept of what a major seventh chord is.
Mm.
They hire arrangers who will come and sit and they say, "Yeah, this is the tune, this is the tune." Da, 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 dee, da, 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 da. Yeah, there you go, there's a tune.
Mm.
And this guy just puts it together, puts a little beat. One guy sitting on the other corner, he's putting some pads and piano. The rhythm programmist is sitting in the other corner making a beat, and they just say, which bar, which bar. They put it together, and here's your song.
No.
So, where's the soul? In
Mm.
fact, I think Bollywood reached a phase where you could even hear the same sounds across composers because they all were using three or four arrangers.
Right.
You
And
know,
also the remix part of it, and also the covers that became popular in the digital space, right? A lot of
yeah, so
music.
that's okay. You know what? I feel covers and remixes are awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's you're revitalizing older tunes, and if
Right.
they're doing well,
Mm.
superb. Yeah, and there's an art, huh, Dakshin. A lot of people say, I mean, Bechara Pritam got the brunt of it for a lot of this thing because he would take other people's songs, and that's a fact.
Right.
But when people laugh at it and say he's not talented, I said, boss, you feel it's easy? Take a Southeast Asian song
Uh-huh.
and make it a hit and show me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's easy to criticize and laugh. You make it, bro.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Which is why what we are doing or trying to do with this thing called the Furtados School of Music is all about, become a musician, understand it a little better, and then throw it out there in whatever form you want. But it's it breaks my heart when people use technology without knowing it.
Right. Right.
It's not a bad thing. People still make great music, but they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the game, yeah.
You know,
Digital music, as you asked. Yeah.
right, right. This part of cover also, when I mentioned, goes back to the conversation of talking about the listenership and viewership, right? At times the covers are doing much better than the original also. It's
Yeah.
because it's marketed that well, or people invest in getting that kind of viewership or listenership. But that also created a whole lot of controversy with Pacha resorting to fake likes and followers and subscribers. All the thing came into a limelight where a lot of artists, not just him, but even
Right.
stars and other celebrities resorted to this. But
Correct.
and today, when you look at artists like Euphoria, like the other ones that we're mentioning, aren't
Mhm.
that popular from that space. Of course, it's about how you market yourself to get more work association, even at this age. But what are your thoughts about fake engagement?
No, so okay, I'll swoop in with the answer from this perspective. All of us, probably all of us, the Euphorias, the Sukhbeers, the Banda Boys,
Mm.
we're all those duffers, yeah. Because we come from an age where you are liked because of what you did, and you didn't work hard to promote yourself. The world took what you gave, and if they didn't like you, they would curse you. If they
Mm.
loved you, you became popular. Today's world is that all about self promotion. It's all about look at this character meeting today, and stuff like that. Now we are the duffers in this world. I'm telling you, so much so that a band of boys, our songs also, we got onto YouTube in like 2012 or 13, which was
Wow.
way late.
Right.
Absolute duffers, late adopters, moving with the times.
Mm.
Now, these guys are far more savvy in promoting themselves, in capitalizing on the moment. They're like the Harshad Mehtas of
Mm.
music, If I have to scam my way, bro, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to get famous. So maybe the objective is to get famous, makes lots and pots of money, and lead a great life. Whereas our objective, I mean, of course, it's great to be famous, it's great to be recognized, it's great for your art to reach out to even more people. But our objective was, let's make good music.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be a band that makes good music. And if that's appreciated and loved, awesome. It's like the cherry on top. I mean, it's who doesn't want money?
Right.
And but the objective was, let's make music.
Mm.
Here, the objective is, let's get famous, you
Mm.
know, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing,
Mhm.
but they are very savvy and awesome at doing it. In fact, so awesome that they have my grudging admiration and respect, saying, wow, To be so self-obsessed is an awesome art and talent. Yeah, it's brilliant. And they're doing damn well. 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs a month. I know people who are doing that and they're not known. In fact, there was a show we'd gone for, these television stars, again, duffers from my era, were standing on stage. And then this absolutely unknown boy and girl walk up, and the crowd went wild. And I'm like, who are these guys? I don't know what's happening. Like, why is the crowd going wild? And there were some TikTok stars or something, I don't know.
It's
But
a very interesting question then. Why are you not on TikTok?
I tried, Dakshin. I tried. It was so brain dead for me. Again, I, with no disrespect to any of the TikTok stars,
Uh,
I couldn't do it, Dakshin. My soul was not in it. My heart was not in it to sit and show my teeth, or to just do one looping 5, 10 second, I don't know, dance step. And maybe I'm getting it all wrong. And I'm showing you my dufferness by talking like this also.
uh,
But I couldn't last, bro. It was really tough. It's really tough to set aside. I don't know, for me, again, I'm disclaimer, please. This is purely my perspective. To set aside intelligence and just do that. Now, there is a certain, a great amount of intelligence to do what they do also,
mhm.
but not the kind of intelligence that appeals to me.
Uh,
So I have to admit, I've tried.
mm,
I've tried Instagram from the perspective of, just keep posting something every 15 minutes, or, and I lasted, I think, all of 18 hours. And then I said, I can't live my life figuring out what next will I put on that screen. I stepped back and I said, okay, this is not my world anymore. And I submit to the heroes of today. It's not my world. So I'm of old foggy, Dakshin.
that's okay. That's
You're
okay.
talking to an old foggy.
Which is interesting, right? Because in today's generation, I mean, this is all new to us as well, right? Now new
Yeah.
platforms come into the picture, and then artists, find opportunities to make a name for themselves, as well as try to monetize themselves. And if you would have spoken to me about TikTok 3 years ago, no one knew it would have been such a big sensation at that point of time. So
Yeah.
new things are going to come, Chintu, and I think we are never too old to explore it. But of course, if, like you rightly mentioned, if it's giving an opportunity to becoming famous and making money out of it, then why not?
Why
Right?
not?
Yeah.
I think there's a great art and talent, Dakshin, in picking up what's the next big thing.
True. True. True.
Because I remember Orkut, and there were some other ones,
Mm.
and Facebook, and I didn't get onto Facebook till the whole, when I think I got onto Facebook when the world was moving into some other platform. That's how slow I am. So then I realized that, oh my God, how do you know which bloody social media to spend all your time on? And you're betting on it, aren't you? In a huge way. You're betting on reels now, and you're
Mhm.
wondering if there's something else happening right now as we speak. I was reading about it on this thing called Mashable,
Mhm, mhm.
and it's like the celebrity private chats where and you can only join the social media by invitation. It's around 300, 400,000 strong right
That's
now.
Clubhouse that you're talking.
Clubhouse, see, there you go. You're the young one, I can see.
No, because Clubhouse has been also in news because of its a lot of controversial
Yes,
comments
yes.
and
So
create.
here's the conundrum, no? It's like I mean, for you, for me, for younger people, which one do they spend all their time on? Or do you spend all that limited time you have on everything?
To become famous, at the end of the day, it's organic, right? So TikTok really became popular because no one needed to spend a single rupee in terms of creating that content and making themselves reach to a larger audience. The whole game was because it was so organic. My video sitting here could reach to the American fans for free.
Correct.
People sitting in tier 3 and tier 2 cities were becoming influencers because their videos shared globally and nationally with everyone. A platform like that, I don't think exists really. But from a platform, a lot of people spend time on Instagram, Reels, Twitter if you want to become a public opinionist, or you have a thought
Yeah.
leadership kind of a thing. But a lot of artists use audio formats, podcasting. Now they create, and like you mentioned previously about Savan, Ghana, Spotify, all these coming
Yeah,
into
there was something called Bandcamp, which was
yes, yes.
getting very popular. So, one gets onto that also. Then there's that audio platform called I'm on it. SoundCloud. There you go.
SoundCloud has been there since a
Uh,
long. I mean that SoundCloud actually started for a lot of people where they put in
yes,
podcast and music there initially, right?
you're right. And then tagging there. And, I tell you, if I'm releasing one song, it's the next week gone on. Have you ticked out every platform? Have you put it there? Have you tagged it there? And then are you answering every question that comes in? Of course, YouTube remains huge in this world
Right,
also.
right.
So are you answering? So I personally answer every comment on my YouTube channel,
That's good.
and it takes a good part of my day. And that's
Mm.
just one platform, which is technically is a social media platform.
Right, right. Makes sense.
So I don't want to hire people to do it because it's not me answering them,
Right.
but I'm being stupid about it. I know I'm being stupid about it because I cannot answer everybody.
Right. So, Chintu, one part is obviously this whole conversation about social media and creating content for monetizing. The
Right.
other part is the licensed music and the royalty-free music is also a huge opportunity for a lot of music composers, right? It's
Right.
a completely different revenue stream for musicians, and that's why with growing platforms which are coming in, it helps them kind of monetize this and grow, at least make money out of it, even sitting home. Like you mentioned, now people can make music at home,
Right.
and it's a matter of just distributing it in these platforms.
Correct.
How much do you think people should really invest in this? And do you think it's a good space to monetize? Or what's your opinion really about licensed music? And what do you think? Have you seen anyone around you, invest in time and effort in creating these licensed music and populating it?
Yes, I do. In fact, I have seen a lot of people doing it. It's kind of a hit and run, of course. But like my grandmom says, she says, Chintu, it's like you take seeds in your hand and you throw it.
Hmm.
That's what you do as an artist. Where a tree starts, it takes its roots and starts growing, you will never know.
Hmm.
Right. And I think there's a lot of merit to what she's saying because you don't know what will work. I mean, even a Rahman cannot guarantee a hit.
Hmm. Right.
Nobody can. Jackson could not guarantee a hit. Nobody can guarantee a hit. So you don't know what the people will like and what not. So you have to, as an artist, hedge your bets across a varied thing. So whether you're an artist that's singing and performing, whether you're one that's making music, whether you're one that's licensing your music, whether you're one that's just giving it on a free platform, because a free platform might get you famous. So you won't earn money, but by becoming famous, then you can now license music and charge a lot more for what you do.
Right. Right.
Right. So a lot of people, myself included, have opened up to this thing of here's my music, I'm putting it out there. In fact, one music company, an international one, had wanted to close me on an earlier album,
Hmm.
but I realized that they were doing nothing to promote it, but they wanted to own my music over the next like 20 years.
Hmm.
I actually took a call saying, no, I'm sorry, guys. I am not going to go with you because I'd rather die owning my music
Hmm.
than give it to you for free.
Hmm.
Because something might come out of my music, something might,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's a risk I'm taking. But bloody hell, my expression, my music, my recording, my writing, you will not own.
Hmm.
It's okay if it goes with me in my grave. I will not give it to you. And I think people are awakening to this fact. It's
Yeah.
a gamble, but you put it out there. If someone wants to use your song for a jingle, for a film, for just 30-second in an international film,
Hmm.
you license it, man. It's awesome. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful opportunity that's opened up. And again, you don't need a music company or you don't need a midman now. That's the beauty of today's world. It's
Hmm.
all open. You can reach out if you're savvy enough and you start putting your stuff out there, SoundCloud, yeah, whoa, everywhere.
Hmm.
You reach out to people. The flip side of this is, and I don't know if this is part of what you would want to get into, are the scamsters that come to you and say, I'll give you $600 a week. And you wonder, okay, I get three a day,
Uh-huh.
and I actually reached out to somebody in Facebook and I said, what is this nonsense, man? They want the music, I'm not that big, yeah. I mean, okay, I'm fairly decent, but why would they pay me $600 for a day? And I don't believe in easy money, so I'm naturally suspicious when that comes. But if somebody asks for your music, will they pay you? Will they just take it? Is the license authentic? Is it not? It's so many questions, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You probably need a lawyer to help you with all this. But my to answer your question, yes, it's a beautiful thing. I know a lot of people doing it. I know one or two who have actually had their music licensed out to other films,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very, very, very happy,
Mm-hmm.
that it actually reached somebody who appreciated it and paid money for it. So it's a great thing.
Great, great. And Chintu, just getting into a conversation also about you now from a personal level, you've been invested in marketing music and other performance related program for children via FSM Buddy, and also previously a part of YouTube channels for kids related content, which
Yes,
also
yes.
did very well. Right? What's your intention really as an individual or as a marketer or as a content creator? And how do you intend to keep this going for yourself in the near future?
All right. So, I mean, it all ties, actually beautifully ties onto all that we've discussed and my realizing the duffer that I am in today's world. And that's when I stepped back largely as an artist and
Mhm.
more as a creator and more to give back to the world as much as I have possibly gleaned from it.
Mhm.
Right. So, what I am doing now is I'm doing a lot of, it started off with educating kids and making kids fall in love with music, etc.
Mhm.
And that naturally led to teaching them music and to make helping them understand, and it led to this company called the Furtados School of Music, where it's all about giving more helping kids really fall in love with music, actually, as an educator, as a curriculum writer. It led me onto the path of creating music for preschoolers and for children, where India traditionally as a market doesn't look at children as a very tagda market.
Right.
In the West, England especially, you know kids music made in India sound like one ruddy, dirty, ting tang tang ching tang ching tang ching kind of sound. But if you're making music for a film, then you gotta put in a lot of more effort into it. And
Right.
so taking that thought in mind, I started doing stuff for kids. We had a YouTube channel. Then we did a band for children where we taught them great values through music, through
Mhm.
song, etc.
Mhm.
And that was kind of the direction that I had moved into at that point of time, essentially.
Mhm.
And now with education and getting music out there to a lot more people, so again, thanks to this entity called the Furtado School of Music, who really believe in the heart of let music be accessible to as many people who want to touch it,
Right.
feel it, and be touched by it.
Mhm.
And I found a very, very good fit in terms of value and soul. And that's what I'm largely focusing on right now. I kind of dipped my toe into that pool, then my foot went into it, then I was wading into it, and
Mhm.
now I'm swimming happily. I'm still doing my stuff as an artist with band of boys, doing my solo stuff, writing some more songs right now even as we speak.
Mhm.
But I am getting a lot of happiness in maybe empowering people with
Mhm.
music and writing stuff that will help many generations be able to do their own music too. So that's the zone I'm in, actually. I don't know if it's a old man zone or a mature zone or whatever.
It's like the Zen mode, right?
Ha! Kind of. I'm reaching Nirvana, kind of.
Super, super. Great stuff. That kind of brings us to the end of our first segment, Chintu.
All right.
Now, things are going to be pacing up a little. This is the rapid fire round. And a few swift questions coming at your way. So, ready for this?
Ready for it? I'm terrible at rapid fire. Like if you ask me what's your favorite color, I'll be like, oh my god, stress, 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 stress. So please don't expect much from me, but I shall give it a shot.
Done. What's the easiest instrument you think one can learn?
Keyboard.
Okay. Who are your favorite artists of today and yesterday? This goes
Oh.
back to your color question.
Today I like Coldplay. I like the way and Arijit Singh.
Mm-hmm.
performs. I love an artist from the actor perspective, Ranveer Singh.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I love Beatles. I love Frank Sinatra. I love R.D. Burman. I love Asha Bhosle, not just because she's my grandmom, because of the soul she brings in. I love Harry Belafonte. I love Guns N' Roses. I love U2.
Okay. How do you warm up your voice? Is there a certain technique that you keep up with your voice? And for voiceovers in songs, do you have like a routine that you kind of follow?
Yeah. So, I mean, before we have to sing or before going for a show, in your real voice, not shouting, not whispering. Right now, my voice is gone because I've been talking quite loudly. But you're essentially vibrating your throat muscles and you're just getting it ready for the exercise that's going to happen, largely a show or a recording or speaking. So, that's what one does. The other most important thing I do is I don't talk. I don't interact with people if I want to preserve the integrity of my voice. So that's
Hmm.
what I do.
Nice. If Chintu wasn't an artist, he would be.
Dead.
What's
So
your
I
long
tried. I tried corporate life. I was in advertising. I was the programming head of Big FM.
right?
I tried it. It was nice, but it didn't fuel the fire in my soul. So I just left it.
Great. Invest in music as a hobby or a career because complete the sentence.
Because when you're 80 years old, decrepit, can't walk, you look back in your life and you say, wow, that was fun. Yeah, because you got to lead a passionate life.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Okay. And who came up with the name A Band of Boys? And if you had to give an alternate name to the band, what would it be?
Yeah, we had names like four squares and a dot,
What?
G spot. We went through a lot of names, but finally, with all of us discussing, our then promoter, his name was Vinod Nair,
Mhm.
he said, guys, try to be this, try to be that, try to be cool. Maybe we can sell ourselves to somebody. There was a pen company that wanted to, kind of get stake in the band and all that. And then he finally said, just forget it all. I've come up with the most genius idea, and we are a band of boys. We said, yeah, we are, but what's the name? He said, that's the name. You are a band of boys. And we didn't all take to it, of course, initially, because it wasn't creative enough. It wasn't like funny enough. It wasn't a play on words. It was just, yeah, a random boy. That what rubbish kind of thing. However, I love that name now because our acronym was ABOB, and I now call our acronym a boob, which is far more interesting because we are a band of older boys now. So.
Hold up. Wow. Nice. You have performed very well, and that was with ease. Well done for the rapid fire round.
Thank you, thank you, thank
We're now
you.
entering our final segment of the show. Now, this is a question we take from social media or a thread. And this question is from Vivek, whose Twitter handle is Viveklectic. And he asks, how do musicians or music labels calculate ROI now that songs are mostly available for free or subscriptions, which can be considered as negligible contribution to ROI?
All right. So you're talking about music as a business, I presume, Vivek. And music as a business is a very tough business. A lot of people have got really, really burnt, or it's not really giving them returns. In fact, even today, music companies are thinking of starting their own event companies because, as artists, we have largely, and I say this in the full public forum, our album, which was such a mega hit, which had our songs like Meri Neend and Gori, and we've not got a paisa of royalty from that, right?
Mhm.
So how we survived as artists is we earn money through shows, because once you're popular, people call you. Once you're called, you earn shitloads of money performing, traveling the world. And we performed across the globe, from Hong Kong to America to the Canary Islands to everywhere, right?
Mhm.
So music companies per se, there's been a long period in my life, and I think that still continues. I don't know how they make money, honestly, anymore,
Mhm.
because whatever they do I can do by myself. Earlier they would produce an album, they would make CDs or cassettes, they would get in touch with the press, they would promote you. We can do all that today. So
Mhm.
what does a music company do? The jury's still out on that for me. But I think largely the aggregators, like, you get a million listens, a million views, 2 million, 10. A million is old school. Like I said, I'm a little
Right.
funny on this, but it's a 200 million, 500 million. Those are the figures you talk about
Mhm.
today, right? So there is a lot of money to be made, even though for you, if you think it's just maybe it's 50 cents or it's 1 cent per listen or whatever, when you add up the numbers, it's huge. It's huge. They make money from there. They make their ROIs come from just as it is on social media, from people who are associating with you as a musician. So brands that will sponsor you or will attach themselves to you. So they do a lot of that per se. So you gotta be, like Dakshin was saying, a lot more marketing savvy in today's day and age, because it's not just about the music, but it's about the business of music.
Right.
So your ROI will basically come from all the current media platforms and making yourself famous. Because once you're famous, money comes in from 50 different directions
Right.
in ways you wouldn't even have imagined,
Mm.
quite literally. So I hope that answers that, Vivek.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic stuff, Chintu. Well, that brings us to the end of our show today.
Awesome. I hope I haven't bored you, but I can
No.
continue to bore you for the next 8 hours. Like I said, it
But this
is
was
in my
absolutely
DNA.
fun. Also because, if I now have to go back in the flashback of 2001, I would have never thought I would be interviewing you like
Yeah.
years later, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But
Thank
this was
God.
total fun, Chintu, and
Thank you so much, Dakshin. Honor to be here and my total pleasure.
great, great. I wish you and all your personal and professional gigs lined up for 2021 with best wishes. Thank you so much, Chintu. Thank you.
Thank you, Dakshin. Take care.
Well, this episode surely took me back in time, and hope you folks enjoyed it as well. If you have any feedback, write it to me at deliberatetalks@gmail.com, and don't forget to follow the Deliberate Talks on the audio platforms and the social media channels. And until next Monday, don't forget to inspire and be inspired.